Hey everyone, it's me Hunter. I'm back in front of the camera. It's been a little bit, I think, since I've been in front of the camera. Uh, I'm here to announce a new building series on my channel. I know I don't have comments, so it's going to be a little different. I'm going to be not getting as much feedback, I think, from everyone as I did on my last building series, which was Vibroblade Ridge. And this one's also not going to be Star Wars. So I know it's a little disappointing for a lot of my followers, but as many people know that have followed my channel, and many of my new followers might know, I've started doing the Thomas the Tank Engine builds. For whatever reason, they've kept me when I have nothing to build Star Wars related, or I have no interest in building Star Wars. They've kept me, building rolling stock and steam engines and diesel locomotives, and even the new Crocodile set. The new Crocodile set's amazing, but that's a completely different topic. The Thomas the Tank Engine stuff has kept me still in Lego. Before I started building them, I almost decided to quit Lego. Decided to quit building box. I'd probably still keep some of the sets, but a good majority of this probably would have been gone. And I've even sold probably about almost half my collection set-wise. But what we're doing this time around is, like I said, it's a Thomas the Tank Engine related building series. We're going to be building Wellsworth Station. Why Wellsworth? In more recent times, Edward, the number 2 engine, has become my favorite character as I go through and rewatch some of the old classic episodes. And it's a lot easier than, say, Natford. It's a little bit more exciting than, let's say, Farquhar. Ellsbridge was one of the other options. I was thinking about Ellsbridge, maybe even parts of Great Waterton from the Thompson the Great Discovery special. However, I've settled on Wellsworth, and it's just going to be the station. I'm not going to do the yard. I'm not going to do, the yard. I'm not sure where we're going to lead to yet, but we're going to have at least a level crossing, possibly the signal box as well. There's a lot of stuff I have in my head that I want to do, but as you can kind of see right next to me, I've started, and I had to do that because I had no idea what I could build. With my new setup, I have more space than I have a better space to build, but I don't have as big of a space to build with that. And my old style, my old setup, I probably could have built as much as I thought I was going to be able to build, when here I'm not. I've never built anything structurally the way I'm building this. Yes, I've built a couple bases from Star Wars, but being more kind of the 1900 early to mid 1900 buildings. It's going to be a little different. I'm going to be trying out some new stuff. I'm not good at building structures, as many of you probably know, and as I've admitted. So this is going to help me hopefully hone my skill for building structures. Now, the station itself is a very basic structure, but it's going to get me, I think, thinking in the right direction. Another thing is dealing with the track. The track, there's only so much you can do. I'm using official Lego track. I haven't gone out and bought from Trix Bricks or any of the other custom track building companies out there. So I'm working with exclusively Lego for this build, outside of some of the stuff on the locomotives I already have built. The goal with this is we're going to try to blend the CGI era and the early model era. Not the late model era. The late model era and the CGI era kind of have the same, as Wellsworth goes, kind of have the same look. As far as the early era, it has some of the parts I've really enjoyed. A good example is there's that siding on the one side by the main station building. As you go later in the era, in the model era and into the CGI era, they remove it, and I actually already have it kind of mocked up, kind of basic design. I really like that part of the old building, but then some of the coloring is probably going to lean towards the CGI and late model era. There's some stuff as I look at some late model era photos that I might want to add in, just kind of, they're more detail pieces. They're not necessarily dealing with the structure, but the goal would be is to build this the main station, which is going to be on the far side. Usually whenever we get to see the station on camera, you're usually looking at the main station building, so that's kind of the profile we're going to build. The second station building will probably have the track going off to the yard. I'm not sure yet, as I kind of come in working on my ballast. But I want to let everyone know that's what I'm going to be doing this time around for my building series. As I build this, though, I will be making smaller Star Wars builds. That way, for all my Star Wars followers out there, who only care about the Star Wars, I'm going to try to still get some more smaller builds up. But without further ado, I know this was a longer opening. I'm going to go ahead, kind of show you what I have done already. And by no means, when I say done, is this anywhere close to being the final. The only thing that might be finalized is the track placement. That still has a slight ability to change. So without further ado, let me give you a close look at what's going on, and we can talk a little bit more about what we're seeing here. Alright, as we get closer into the build, you can see that I have it set up as 2 gray base plates, a row of green, and then 2 or 4 more gray. This, initially I was hoping to get 5 gray plates in. That wasn't going to work. I could, if I really wanted to, I could take both the shelves on either end and get rid of them for the time being. Unfortunately, as I'm still coming into this room, believe it or not, even after all these months, as I get new stuff, and unfortunately, I build in a mess, and I'm trying to clean this up. And then I got some old stuff, as you can kind of actually see over there, some old airsoft stuff I'm still trying to get rid of. The problem is it's my stuff, and I don't have anywhere else to put it but in this room, so I still got to purge that. But looking back at what we currently have set up so far, so we're going to go 8 gray, 3 green, and that's as big as it's going to go. Now later on, if I'm working on this and I clear out the space behind me next to the table and I'm able to widen it up, I might. I'm not saying I will, but I might. The nice thing kind of is with the cancellation of all the brick worlds is I'm not worried about making this transportable. Originally I was actually going to try to reserve a spot at Brick World, Michigan, and I was actually going to start this build about 3 months ago. That way I had at least 3 months ago, probably sooner, so I would have had plenty of time to get everything I needed sorted out and figured out. As I was saying in the intro, the big part of the early model era, or the original model era, whatever you want to call it, sorry to move a chair, is this siding right here. Right now I just put one of my Express coaches in there, just trying to get a feel for the size on that. My largest engine will fit with having 2 straight sections, a curve, and that little bit off the switch. Any of the locomotives I currently have built from the series will fit on here. However, the only locomotive I have in my collection that won't fit would be the Crocodile locomotive, but I'm not worried about getting that in here. As you can see, we're going to have the 3 rails running right down the middle. Now, I'm still going back and forth. Right now, you can kind of see, as I hold it like this, I have a 1 stud gap between each created section of ballast track. I don't know if I'm going to keep that. I'm going to look at some more photos, but also I want to build what's just most convenient. Since nothing's going to be running physically, I think I could put them all side by side if I wanted to. I think having 2, 4, however you want to count it, anywhere from 2 to 4 spaces between the rails themselves, I think I can have any engine and any piece of rolling stock I have pass each other. But I want to look at photos and kind of see how close they are on that. This is kind of the distance is going to definitely be decided by the model era. Some of the more, as I was saying earlier, the details design when we get onto the station, depending on what colors are available in Lego brick, will kind of come down to the detailing, like the canopy that comes over the platform that's going to be right here in this space going all the way down. Sometime in the early era, I believe it was detailed in like a dark green. In the CGI I believe early on it was white. As we got later, it became the dark green. I like the dark green, but my other issue is the windows. The window frames are the same color as the detailing on the canopy, and I want to match them up. I don't want to do white window frames and then the green canopy. I don't think that's going to work. But as we're also still looking at this, another big part I think of Wellsworth that a lot of people might question is I'm going to try to get that passenger bridge. As we all know, there's the passenger bridge. That is a huge goal to get. It's going to be probably one of the most challenging things for me to build, just because I don't know what I'm looking at building. I don't know how to build it. I've looked at a couple images of the actual thing and some other Lego ones, and a lot of the other Lego ones are really big compared to the one we see in the series. So I'm going to go ahead and try to work that out as we go down further. So originally my idea was I was going to be able to come the way the early model era sets up. There's I believe there's actually a stone bridge, a signal box, the level crossing, the station, and then another stone bridge. And then kind of between the level crossing and the station at the platforms, you have the footbridge for the passengers to cross over to come from one platform to the other. The goal is at least the level crossing. I don't know if I'm going to get the signal box in, or maybe, depending on if you guys want to go to Instagram and comment, or even email me with the email that's going to be in the description of the video. Tell me if you think I should say throw away the level crossing and get the signal box in there instead. I can do that too. Last thing I want to talk about kind of here is what the very back of the mock's going to look like. Obviously, if we have the level crossing, we'll have a road going all the way back. I've been looking at some images, and they kind of have, as a lot of people know, in the early model era, as they were filming it, they kind of had to design everything with backdrops that worked. You know, you want to try to get as much detail in as you can, but you only have so much space, or you don't want to go so far back that you just waste money on unnecessary things. So I've looked at a couple images, and I believe there's like a stone wall, kind of like at Natford. They had that stone wall kind of separating the station and the rail lines from the rest of the town. So I'm thinking I'm going to be putting that along the backside with a small little road that comes in along next to the siding. But as you can see, there's not much down. This is very early kind of pre-planning, a 3D blueprint, if you will. But otherwise, we're actually just going to go ahead and end out the video. There's not much more to talk about, except for, as you can kind of see here, I'm extremely rough prototyping the possibility of adding in the siding, or the path to the yard. The biggest issue is to just keep it going straight. That means this is going to be angled on here, and the way I ballast my straight track, it's going to be really hard to work out. Because another thing I'm still working on is if I'm just going to build directly off this platform and then put plates as I need to around structures to create the ground, or if I am going to plate the entire thing and then put this the rest of the mock on top of it. That's something I kind of got to decide as I move forward. We will see. If I go with the plating everything directly on top of the base plate and then everything on top of those plates, this won't be as big of an issue, as I can just use tiles underneath to get the path I need without having to worry too much about that. But we will see. Otherwise, I want to just go ahead and end out the video with a couple last minute comments. So let's go. Alright, so that was a very quick walkthrough of what I currently have so far. Like I said, this is very early stages, where with Vibroblade Ridge, I knew it was going to be very simple. It was just going to be a ground battle. Something very simple. I could just kind of generally sketch out. I printed off, I think, those squares on a piece of paper. I'm like, okay, I want the trench here, the cliffs here, and I want a couple of these larger detailing pieces, such as, whatever, I went with on that. This, however, this is going to take a lot more thinking. As a lot of people know, I avoid recreating things from TV or from the show or the universe. Star Wars, a lot of people know that I talk with, I won't ever make Hoth or Endor or Crate or whatever, or at least the main battles we see of those, because I don't want to be compared to another builder who maybe is more financially set up than I am, or goes a different direction that people like, or basically I don't want to let myself down in the idea of, hey, even though I maxed out everything as far as I was comfortable with, it still didn't come out looking that accurate, and then I spent all that money, I'm just going to tear it down and never share it with anybody. So this Wellsworth allows me to go something simple, recreate it, and really dive in and try something new for me. I hope a lot of those that are my Star Wars fans understand where I'm coming from and why I chose to do this. It's just something different, as I've said before. Branching out, with the Clone Wars coming back and all that, I've had a lot more influx of Star Wars ideas, but there was a time where I had nothing at all. And when I was a kid, I loved steam locomotives. I love Thomas the Tank Engine, obviously, and it's working out right now. And for a long time, especially after I think I got Edward done and a couple of the other engines, I was like, I want to build Wellsworth. And that's the first time, this is the first time I've ever been, I want to recreate this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it my best, try, and yeah, I want to thank you all for watching. As always, my Instagram name and my email for YouTube is in the description. Feel free to reach me there. I'm still deciding if I want to come off of kids only and then kind of go video to video. I think this is going to be the point where I'm going to make that decision before I get this video up. So when this video is posted, it'll be like, you'll see the change if there is one. If not, this will kind of just be you watching me go about my progress, maybe with very little to no interaction, and that's fine. I miss it, I really do, but at the end of the day, I want to play it safe, and I'm just here to create content for you all to watch and enjoy. Like I said, I miss the interaction, but to keep, everything safe and everything, to flow smoothly for me, I'm okay with making that sacrifice. Because if you follow me on Instagram, we can communicate. I'm going to say 24/7, but as we all know, that's not true. I like to sleep, but really any day of the week, I'm always on and checking it and happy to comment and talk with people. So, without further ado, I want to thank you all for watching. As I said, check the description for those kind of links, as I'll call them for right now. Hit the like button if you're interested. Hit the dislike button if you really think this is a bad idea. And otherwise, I will see you in my next video.